Linda, what's your last name?
Williams.
Linda what?
New music from Phil Wickham, Your Love Awakens on your family friend WFRN. Good morning, 66 degrees out there. Sunny skies right now. Today's high 74. Going to be a beautiful Friday. Also into the weekend, we've got 80s, low to mid 80s, and sunshine for the weekend. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of sunshine in the studio this morning.
That's right.
It's rare that we have a studio filled with lovely young ladies, but this morning we do.
We do. We are graced
Yeah.
by the presence of some sisters in the Lord, and we've been talking some earlier this morning. We're going to be with an author, a longtime member of the WFRN family, who recently started writing. And once she started, she can't stop. God has given her inspiration.
Yeah.
And we want to say good morning again to Angela Deese. Thank you for being here, Angela.
Thanks so much, Doug. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for bringing family and friends. I know you have your sister Diane Baker in the studio with us.
Yes.
And Helinda Williams, your good friend. And it's a pleasure to have you ladies with us.
Well, thank you. We're just so happy to be here, and this weather is so terrific. I had
nice.
moved to Georgia, and it's been like 98.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's been very, very hot.
That's nice to keep that in mind on our hot and humid days.
That's right.
It's a little-
We could be in the deep south.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Beautiful
Little
there,
Yes.
though.
And I know you recently moved to Georgia after many years here in the WFRN listening area and as a listener. But how I want to ask right off the bat, Angela, and I want to say people can find your books. Go to Amazon.com, search for Angela Deese, and that's spelled D-E-E-S-E.
That's right.
Angela Deese. And I'm looking at some of your books here, Emotional Glory, In Him, and you've written 8 in total.
Yes.
They're not all on Amazon yet, but you've written 8 books.
Correct. They're going to be coming out in the future as the
Okay.
Lord allows, and so
Okay.
the next one will be But God.
Okay.
And
Oh,
so-
wow. What a cool title.
I know.
But God. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny because when you go through a trial or you go through any situation, if you really think about it, I was washing my hair one day and the Lord just spoke to my spirit and said, you know, as I'm going through this trial, and the words kept coming, but God, and I knew that was the next book.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay. So, I want to ask you, for all the people listening who, and I know there's a lot, that one of their pipe dreams, one of their longtime dreams is, boy, I'd like to write more. I'd like to be a writer. I'd like to write books or children's books or devotionals or something, and use those gifts more and those interests and develop those skills. You started doing it how long ago? You've written 8 books now, but how long ago did you start writing?
It's just a little over 2.5 years, probably.
Okay, so just a couple years ago, and this was after raising children, and
That's right. I had all my children. They were raised in the Jimtown school districts, and so we've been longtime Jimtown Jimmies here.
Great.
You know, a lot of times though, Doug, when you go through a trial
yes,
or things that are happening in your life, that's kind of what did it for me. It was just all of a sudden I was going through this trial, and then I heard the Lord speak to my spirit, you know, write it down. And actually, I was at church one night, and it was a Wednesday evening, and I'll never forget it. We had a pastor there, and he was talking about the book of Nehemiah, and he just asked the simple question, what can you do in 52 days for the Lord, for the kingdom? And I sat in there, the pew, and I thought, what can I do, God? And I thought, maybe I can write a book. And so I began to journey and to journal what God had given to me in my spirit, and that's kind of where it began. And so I was going through that painful time and going through trials. I mean, I had went through 2007 as a mortgage broker and lost a lot of things, you know, and so financially.
and that was an historically bad time.
Right.
to
It
be in.
Economically, yes.
It was because, you know, at that time, Elkhart really got devastated by it, and I was one of them. And so I went through that, and then all of a sudden, emotionally and financially and spiritually, I just felt totally depleted. And so God then began just to do this work, and just I sat down and just started to write. And as I did, every chapter, he named every chapter, whether it was don't forget the mashed potatoes, and that was one day I felt like putting my face in them. But, you know, and so
That's funny.
you know, the Lord has a sense of humor,
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Does he ever? Yeah.
And if he can use me, he can use anyone. And because
Wow.
I was that grandmother of 8 children, I had a home office, and as the mortgage broker, doors were closing for me. And that was a hard thing because I'd been in it for 16 years, but I was seeing that, there would be people that I knew, but I felt like they would give, the business to other people, and I couldn't understand what was happening. And I was praying, but then as I sat down and wrote, God said, if it was a tree that he would show me a spiritual aspect to that tree. If it was not putting your face in the mashed potatoes and looking to him, or, being in captivity and what that meant. And sometimes as Christians, we are taken into captivity, and we don't like it. But that captivity is what catapults us into our destiny, into our future.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's where what was happening to me.
God's an amazing turnaround artist.
He really is.
Very cool. Well, you are hearing the voice of longtime WFRN family member and now author of 8 books and counting, Angela Deese, mother of, she's raised her children, grandmother of 8. Wow. So 5 children, 8 grandchildren.
3 children.
3 children, 8 grandchildren. And and you just started writing 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
And now you've already gotten 8 books written. And we're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk about a little bit about what God's put on your heart. And we're hoping that this encourages lots of people, lots of moms and grandmas and dads and grandpas too, to start using skills and gifts. Don't believe the lie that because you didn't start young or get some kind of formal training,
good point,
that it's too late for you. That's a lie. Don't believe it. Use the gifts God has given you. Angela, thanks for doing that and being an example. We're going to be back in a little bit after the news and weather and some more music, and we're going to talk with author Angela Deese on Your Friend, WFRN.